All right, episode 4. I promised you it was going to be good. When parents become the children. All right, welcome back here to episode 4. And this is Retire Ready, Texas. I'm James.
And I'm Cherish. Today's conversation is probably the most personal one we've had since our very first episode.
Absolutely. If you ever watched a parent age, if you've ever cared with somebody with Alzheimer's or dementia or somebody that's just in bad health, you never imagined making some of the decisions that you have to make.
Then this episode's for you. If you haven't experienced those things yet, then we hope this conversation helps you prepare before life forces those decisions upon you.
Oh, yeah.
So, James, tell us a moment when everything changed.
There are moments in your life you will just never forget. Not because they're dramatic, but because they quietly change everything. It's a, oh, wow moment. We may have waited too long. For me, one of those moments was realizing my dad wasn't just getting older. Something was changing. Little things at first. Repeating stories, misplacing things, not knowing how to use the remote over and over and over again, not being able to make a telephone call on the cell phone that he had always had. Maybe it's not just normal aging comes to mind. And then one day you realize it's definitely more than that.
We had already walked through Alzheimer's and dementia with James's mom, and we knew what that journey looked like. But even knowing what was ahead,
it wasn't the same.
And it didn't make it any easier.
No, absolutely not. My mom battled Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever it was, while we were building our business and raising our daughter. And those days felt almost impossible. I know some days you drive over there at night and put her to bed and drive back just crying and boo-hooing and protecting me from having to see that from about my mom.
Caregiving and then still trying to be present for everybody. And one thing that I learned, that caregiving isn't just physically exhausting, it is so emotionally exhausting. You're grieving someone who's still here, and you're trying to understand the why. They're sitting across from you, and little by little, pieces of the person that you've known is disappearing, and it's really hard to explain unless you've lived those experiences.
Somebody that you know loves you is being really not nice to you. Maybe calling you a name or slapping you.
I can still see your mother's face. She had the best go to you-know-where look.
And it wasn't her, so you have to learn.
Oh, it was her, though.
One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was tell my dad he couldn't drive anymore.
Yeah, that's tough.
We had a realization that he couldn't go pick up our daughter one day, and we were out of town, and we didn't have anybody else. And he couldn't remember how to get to the school. Then I think, oh, my gosh. Just last week, we had him take our daughter to school, and it's a miracle that he got back home.
Within a week.
Within a week. He was fine, and then he wasn't sure how to start the car, and I'm going, okay, he's been driving the same car and turning on the car.
And remember when he tried to open his car door with a credit card?
Yeah.
He knew something went in the
That's your aha moment. And at that point, we knew it's no longer safe. He wasn't just losing a set of car keys. He felt like a car is a man's
independence.
From an early age. I got a car. I am independent, and I'm ready to conquer the world. And you take that away from him. And
that was tough.
That hurts.
Those conversations are heartbreaking because you're not trying to control someone. You're trying to protect them.
Right.
But they don't always see it that way. So that was tough. But sometimes love means making decisions that won't be appreciated in the moment. But I was shocked at how quickly we got over that moment.
And then the next phase is I bought him a golf cart, a really nice golf cart, because I felt guilty, but he couldn't figure how to turn that on. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, we jumped light years all of a sudden And
But you did some things right. We were able to bring your dad on property with us, right? We moved him. So talk a little bit about that.
yeah, so we knew things were going downhill as it were, and we were out. Dad lives on the lake, and we were out by the lake, and I asked Dad, and Cherish was there. I was like, Dad, you've got some memory issues, and while you can still make decisions, I really want to know what your wishes are, because I'm telling you, I am committed to making that happen. And he's like, I want to live at my house on the lake for as long as I can. So we did everything that we could. Like,
At the expense of everything we had.
oh yeah, we baby-proofed the house, and we turned off some of the breakers that controlled the oven, and we left the microwave to where it would work.
And then we taped all of the numbers off the microwave, and it was just the start button.
And the remote. There was an on-off button.
And he still couldn't figure that out.
Button. And so we did all those things, and then the thing, this house had more cameras than the White House. We had cameras everywhere except the bathroom.
And my primary job was now a security guard.
Yeah, it was 24 hours ABC Cherish monitoring company, and we watched everything that he did. And then one day we got a call from the club, and they said, your dad's down here. And I go, okay. And he's like, yeah, he's been coming down here, and he's been getting a ride home with the wait staff and with security, and because he doesn't know how to get home. I'm like,
We got there.
yeah, I wish I'd known about this months ago. And then one day I got a call from a neighbor. It's like, yeah, it's 9:30 at night, and your dad's kind of wandering around by the edge of the lake. I was like, oh, that's it. That's done. You're moving into the barn dominium. And for about 2 years, he lived there under surveillance, and people sometimes ask, what was that like? And the honest answers are, some days were wonderful, sitting on the porch, drinking coffee, or him drinking a root beer, and just having him help me out in the back, picking up sticks. And so it's mixed. And then there's days that you see something on camera you just can't believe and you never want to see again. And
it was exhausting.
Yeah. You go over there and you clean it up. And those are moments we laugh together.
Yep. And then lots of moments we'd cry after we went to bed, because caregiving is not glamorous. It's changing routines. It's helping with medicines, repeating conversations over and over and over and over and over and over, and with the same zeal as the first time.
And it's buying the same blueberry muffins and the little chocolate cakes and the Debbie cakes. And
Oh, you remember when he ate an entire bag of Reese cups? It was his caregiver's Reese cups. And she's, where'd they go? I'm like, he ate them at 2 a.m. An entire bag. He ate them up.
Yeah, eventually we reached a point where we had to admit something. We couldn't provide the level of care that we really needed to be ourselves. Our business was suffering quite a bit. And
we were letting him down.
Yeah, and that's true. And we weren't getting to spend the time that we needed to spend with our own daughter. And I think that's one of the things that led to the decision we made.
Caregivers carry a lot of guilt, and they feel like asking for help means that they've failed. I know, I personally lived it, but you got to get past that. It's not true, because sometimes the most loving decision is recognizing when you need professional care, both personally and them. And it doesn't mean that you stop loving them. It just means that they deserve something different. They deserve a different level of care than you can provide.
Yeah. I think what this taught us is walking through Alzheimer's and dementia has changed us. Professionally, every time a family sits across from us and says, we're caring for mom, unless you've been through it, you can't come from a place of empathy. Our dad was just diagnosed with prostate cancer or dementia. We just understand that family differently now.
Right. We've lived it.
Yeah, we've
And
experienced those sleepless nights, and that uncertainty is not fun.
No. And the difficult decisions that come. and we know it's coming. And then the paperwork that comes because you know it's coming.
I'll tell this quick story. We had to get the power of attorney documents on Dad. You have to get durable and medical power of attorney and deed upon death on the bank account. And there's a time where they can't write their own checks, or they write a check. Instead of $300 for a water bill, it is $3,000 for a water bill. And having a $2,000 and $2,700 credit with the water company is not the thing you want. You have to go through a lot of water
Till you die.
to get that back. But the funniest thing that ever happened, I think, was when we went to the bank. And we had to get our names on the bank account. And the banker I don't know what he was thinking. He's like, you realize that both your son and your daughter-in-law have access to all your money. And Dad was completely okay with it. We've been talking about it.
That was before the dementia started.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it. It was there, and we've been talking about it for months and months. We need to have this in case something happens. You have a stroke. We can't help you. We can't do the things that we need to do for you if we don't have access to some funds. And because we couldn't bankroll it at the time for sure. And he all of a sudden got real stingy and was like, you mean she could take all my money? And at that point, we had cared for Mom for 5 years straight, and we were caring for Dad and doing everything for him. And it just...
Did you witness my head roll?
Yeah. It just hit Cherish the wrong way. Man, understandably why. And she's like, that's right, Billy. I can take all of your money and go to Mexico.
And the thought crossed my mind at that moment.
And then he snapped him into reality as, oh, yeah, these are the people that are going to be taking care of me, and these are the people who have been taking care of me. And at some point, you got to trust somebody. And I guarantee you, if you haven't crossed that bridge, there's a good chance you're going to cross that bridge. And money is one of those things that can get sticky for sure, right?
It's one thing to learn about caregiving from a textbook, but it's another to actually walk through it yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we could encourage every family to do just one thing, it would be this. Have the conversation before there's a crisis. Don't wait until someone's in the hospital and you go up and they can't speak for themselves. Don't wait until memory loss has progressed so much that they can't tell you their true wishes. Don't wait until decisions have to be made overnight.
Talk about the wishes. Talk about the medical care. Talk about the finances. Talk about where the documents are. Talk about who should make the decisions, especially if someone can't. And those conversations are not the easy ones, but they're gifts.
Right. And this sounds simple, but talk about who gets the photos. Talk about who gets the china. It is small things that all of a sudden people, Mama promised me this and Daddy promised me that. Get all that figured out before you get to the end.
Mm-hmm. And if you're listening today and you're already a caregiver, can I say something to you? Don't forget to take care of yourself. It's easy to feel guilty for resting. It's easy to think everyone else comes first, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. Accept the help when it's offered and take the breaks. Talk to someone that you trust because you matter too.
100%. And I'll say at this point, faith was a big deal. Pray about it, right? Ask for help. It makes a difference. And if someone is in your life's a caregiver, pray for them because it is not easy.
Just check on them.
Right.
Not because you think they're incapable, but because you love them and you can feel for them. Bring them dinner.
Right. Offer to sit down with their loved one for an hour. And if you're a church member and someone in your Sunday school is going through this, don't just show up to give them an offering letter. Show up and show that you care and love on them. And that family's going through some things.
Just give them time to breathe.
Right. 100%.
Your father went to church every single day.
Most of his life.
Twice on Sundays.
I guarantee.
He's the reason for the twice on Sundays.
Right. And he never missed. And I'll say this, nobody came to see my dad with all that he poured into other people. And the same thing with my mom. Maybe one person came and saw my mom when she got sick. But
it's hard to visit. It's hard to see it.
for all the pouring in those two did as a couple, and they planted lots of seeds that they'll realize in heaven they just didn't get a lot of that back.
Sometimes the greatest gift that you can give is simply giving them time to breathe. The caregiver needs time to breathe.
Yeah, so today's Texas Retire Ready Spotlight is dedicated to every one of you guys across our state, the husbands,
The caregivers.
the wives, the sons, daughters, neighbors. We've had some neighbors that rescued us in a big way.
Oh, man, great neighbors.
Yeah, hey, your dad, he's thumbing for a ride out by the
I think
mailbox.
he's chasing a snake.
Yes.
Should I go check on him? Yes, if he's chasing a snake at 87, you should probably check on him.
Yeah, because we know you're not getting applause and you're not getting recognition and you're not going to end up in the newspaper as an outstanding son or daughter or caregiver.
Just that faithful service award, one day at a time, one tear at a time, one prayer at a time. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So you're hearing it from us because we've been there. So here's this week's legacy challenge. If your parents are still living, invite them to lunch or coffee. Not to discuss paperwork, not to solve problems, just to listen.
Ask them to tell you about their childhood, their first job, their wedding day, their dreams. Record the conversation, and if they're comfortable with it, that's going to be the memory that can last a lifetime.
I got one of the best answers from my dad is like, if you could do one thing over again, what would that be? And so ask meaningful questions, not what was your favorite color. And one day, those stories may become very priceless to you. And
None of us can stop the time clock, and none of us can prevent every illness, but we can choose how we love people while we have the opportunity to do so.
preparation matters, but really, relationship matters the most. That's what you take forward.
Don't wait to say the things that need to be said, and don't wait to ask the questions that you've always wanted to ask, and don't wait to remind the people you love that they matter.
And we just want to thank you from James and Cherish. Thank you for spending this time with us. We know everybody has a busy schedule. We know today's conversation was a little heavier than usual, but it's one that's close to our hearts.
If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who may be walking through caregiving right now. Sometimes simply knowing you're not alone can make all the difference in the world.
And if your heart gets burdened, remember to pray, and laughing is some of the best medicine we ever had. So take care of the people you love, take care of yourself, and remember,
Leave more than money.
leave more than money.